morning, everybody. I hope you all have had a nice weekend. This was very impromptu, and I do apologize for the short notice. I was going to dual stream on Kick and all that, but for some reason it is not wanting to work. So I will have to get the kinks worked out of that update, or I'm not sure if it's a restream or if it's a Kick issue. So what I will do, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. What I will do is, well, actually, what I do plan on doing is I had discussed previously about doing some scheduled events or premiere type events where the videos would be pushed out, would appear live, but it's just like basically looping a playlist or something along those lines. I am going to be doing that over on Kick simply to get some watch hours in over there. One thing I have really researched into is consistency is key over there, and I cannot at this stage of the game or my life or however you want to put it, be live every single day. So what I'm going to do is throw things into a queue and spark it up and push it out, and hopefully that works. We'll see. But in the meantime, did you guys have a nice weekend? I hope so. I hope so. Um, we had a little bit of spring weather. Now today it's snowing. So the joys of living in the northwestern mountains of Pennsylvania. But so we all know what took place last week. The big hubbub on the streets has been that was that virtual hearing recorded without permission and pushed out to the internet, because that is a faux pas and does have legal consequences. But there was something within that whole hearing that I think has been missed. And to my knowledge, it hasn't really been discussed. So I'm going to bring that to your attention today. And my question to everyone is Brittany J. self-snitching? Let's dive into it, shall we? Witness coaching, a fraud on the court, how to answer. Did she self-snitch? What's the issue here? What did she do? Was it a potential fraud on the court? AWBJ had one of her typical live streams. However, this particular night, it was after the virtual court hearing. If you're unfamiliar, Brittany J. and Julie Skolnick are embroiled in a citizen's complaint, a petty harassment claim that has been made against Brittany J. or BJ, AWBJ, in the New Jersey Municipal Court. During this live stream, AWBJ said something in passing. She admitted that she received input or coaching on how to proceed in this hearing via email as the hearing was taking place. Witness coaching. Secretly helping a participant during a virtual court hearing in New Jersey is a serious infraction that can lead to severe legal and procedural consequences. Virtual hearings are treated as formal legal proceedings with the same rules of conduct and decorum as in-person courtrooms. And this is not just for New Jersey. This is jurisdiction wide. You just don't get information on the sly, whether it be from an attorney or somebody that's not an attorney. Let's keep going here. And here are some sources for you, and additional resources are also, as always, going to be made at the end of the presentation. What's expected for virtual conduct? Strict decorum. Participants must assume the same behavior as if they were physically in front of a judge. The presence of others. If more than one person is in the same physical space during a hearing, they must be appropriately distanced and identified to the court. And what that means is that if you've got your children in the room with you, a spouse, a cleaner, a maid, a delivery driver, a parent, whatever, if there is anybody else in your immediate vicinity when you are logged on to this virtual hearing, you must make the court aware that there is a third party present. Electronic devices. Generally, participants are prohibited from having secondary electronic devices like cell phones or other laptops present during the hearing, which helps prevent secret messaging or coaching. Private consultation. If a party needs to confer privately with their legitimate counsel, that's the key there, legitimate counsel, they must request a virtual breakout room from the judge. And this is specific, this is how it's worded for New Jersey. And here is the resource for Zoom trial guidelines and also the New Jersey courts through their government website, and the protocols that were put in place as a result of CV-19, which made all this virtual judging, these virtual hearings and trials and so forth, part of the fabric of the court system, of the judiciary. So now, if we recall, in this hearing that we heard online, the prosecutor was very clear. Was anybody present? And was anybody that was present, did they have legal representation? Did they have a lawyer? Now, for Julie, that wasn't necessary in this particular situation because the prosecution is putting forth the claims that Julie made. But Brittany J. was within her legal rights to have private counsel available to her, to be represented by counsel, or to have been provided a public defender or legal representation if she's so qualified based on the rules of the jurisdiction that she was in, which was the New Jersey Municipal Court. According to this hearing, she didn't avail herself of any of those options. She essentially was pro se. She was just representing herself and wanting to understand what was going on. But this was, in fact, a hearing to determine what was going to happen. The prosecution indicated that this should go to mediation. We've since heard, learned, been told, which is all hearsay at this point. I don't have any official documentation that indicates that mediation is off the table. So, and until I hear otherwise, that was something that would still be on the table. But we do know that there has been another hearing scheduled for later in the month, and perhaps that will, flesh out more details. But today, I'm side questioning, I'm rambling. I'm simply here based on the statements that Brittany J. made on her live stream after this hearing. So to recap, even in a virtual hearing, there is strict decorum. You have to notify the court if there are other individuals in your vicinity while you are having this hearing. You're generally limited to only one electronic device, and that's the device you're using to access the virtual hearing. And if you want to have private consultation, you ask for a breakout room to have that done privately. Now, the self-snitch. This is something that, again, was mentioned in passing on her live stream. And I don't know if people picked up on it or if they even paid attention to it, or they paid attention to it and didn't realize that it is actually a very big deal and could potentially land her or others in hot water. So let's go.
Let's read this post real quick because this, I feel safe enough to answer this. I'm not going to be blamed for this because it takes an outright fool to share this, to share the link of a private court hearing publicly on YouTube. I would never in a million years be so foolish to do something like that. I look forward to my opportunity to clear our names from the lies that's been told on us. And I damn sure would not do something like this and risk, you know what I mean? Getting all of this stuff, getting justice basically by having this stuff dismissed and, you know, other things.
Everyone deserves justice. Everybody deserves a break. Everybody deserves peace.
Nobody deserves to be lied on. And this, so we had a virtual court yesterday, S-dubs. And to my knowledge, the only ones that had access to this Zoom meeting were people that were given the links directly. The actual defendants and plaintiffs, right? Well, yesterday, while I'm in the middle of our hearing, I get an email from someone telling me that they're watching and they're basically giving me pointers on how I should respond to the prosecutor. From someone telling me that they're watching and they're basically giving me pointers on how I should respond to the prosecutor.
Did you hear that? I imagine you did hear that. This was an admission that while she was in this hearing in front of the prosecutor, hello to Jennifer, and no, she's not very bright. She is, in my opinion, at this point, the epitome of what not to do when you're involved in litigation or any court proceedings. She doesn't have the self-awareness to self-censor when it's appropriate or needed, to think before she speaks. In my opinion, my observation, hi Cat's Eyes, thanks for coming in, hun. In my observation, she is so engrossed in her online, it is her second life. She has to have the last word. Everything is taken as an attack or a personal affront to her very existence. So therefore, she's got to speak. She literally just said that she was receiving communications while in a court hearing with a prosecutor. I cannot emphasize enough how wrong that is to do, how irresponsible that is to do. Hey, M. Walton, how irresponsible that is, how the potential for more hot water for herself. Not only herself, who was she receiving the coaching from? Okay, that's a question that will likely be asked at a later date. And does that person she received the coaching from, or the pointers, as she put it, from, was that somebody that is in the legal profession, perhaps a paralegal or an attorney? Because if that is the case, if the individual that was giving the pointer is in the legal profession in any capacity, hi, Carl Ferguson, in any capacity, there is potential for sanctions that I absolutely, this is the straw that has broken my back with this. I have ethics that I have to abide by, that I did abide by for decades. And I do my best to keep my biases out of these discussions. However, at this, I'm literally, my jaw dropped to the floor. The most basic protocol to be in a room with yourself, your electronic device, in front of the judge, the prosecutor, whatever, you and them. That's it. It is no different than walking into a courtroom. She apparently had other devices at her disposal because she is receiving, not only receiving, but looking at and reading communications while she's in the middle of this hearing. It's I'm angry about it, not because it's such a disrespect for the court. It's a disrespect to the other people that were waiting. It was and regardless of how you feel about Julie, it was disrespectful towards her. It was just it's a cluster is what it is. Hey, UA, but she admitted it. So let's go from there. Let's go from there. Potential infractions and or consequences. Secretly advising a participant, often referred to as a witness coaching or shadowing, violates the integrity of the judicial process. Potentially a fraud. Well, it is a fraud on the court. That's my viewpoint, and I'll stand on that. Providing secret assistance or coaching a witness during testimony can be considered a fraud on the court. In some cases, this has led to the dismissal of an entire case with prejudice. Unauthorized practice of law. If the third party is providing legal advice without a license, they may be guilty of unauthorized practice of law. In New Jersey, this can result in criminal charges, fines, and injunctions. Do you people not understand what the potential outcome for this is? This has gone so far beyond YouTuber beef and bullshit. I'm in awe of it. It's the incredulity of it all. Contempt of court. Judges have the authority to hold individuals in contempt for disrupting or interfering with the administration of justice. And in this case, in this hearing, justice would be facilitating arbitration or facilitating mediation. It's not just guilty or not guilty. This was municipal court. And even though it's a petty citation, a petty complaint, you still, as a participant in the process, must show respect for the court. The rules and procedures, they're in place for a reason. And I'm sorry, but Brittany doesn't understand that. She thumbs her nose at all of it. At all of it. Sanctions for attorneys. And this is what I said a moment ago. Was it an attorney or somebody in the legal profession that was advising her? If an attorney is involved in or aware of secret coaching, they may face professional disciplinary action, including reprimand, suspensions, or disbarment. I mean, here are sources for you. This was an this was egregious. It was egregious. Witness coaching, a prohibited practice that carries significant consequences for both attorneys and clients. Here is a link for you. Zoom guidelines, virtual court hearings and trials. Here is a link for you. New Jersey courts, ethics and discipline. Here is a link for you. New Jersey courts, witness coaching and sanctions imposed a cautionary tale. This is going to show you some cases where this is how this situation even came about and how cases are dismissed and where there's prejudice, because there's case law on this now specific to New Jersey. And New Jersey courts, newjersey.gov. There are some sources. So Google it, research it on your own. There are what Brittany did is what she accused Granny's Watching and Barbecue of doing, having an active device, i.e., receiving emails during a court proceeding. Yes. When she was so outraged that the hearing was leaked, I was like, why not ask whoever emailed you? Yeah. Hey, Jennifer. Yeah, it's really it's mind numbing to a certain degree. I couldn't. While I wasn't completely surprised that the hearing would be on YouTube or Kick or somewhere, because we know how people move in this space, what I was surprised about was that Brittany J would literally fire up a live stream and admit that she received coaching during the hearing. And here, let me see if I can grab a couple of things for you guys. Let me go into wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm not sharing my desktop. Okay. So talk amongst yourselves for a moment. It's just Carl says, I'm starting to think the same person emailed multiple people. You know, I don't know. I don't know if this was, you mean the same person that emailed Brittany? Because I'm you know, that makes some sense, that if the person that was sending out the emails to the link, it would seem to me that the person that sent out the link to creators that the hearing was being broadcast on YouTube would be the person that recorded it and set it up. Because the account was set up, was made that day. The channel was made that day. So it only had 1 or 2 subscribers, if any subscribers at that point. So we can deduce that an account was made, put on YouTube by the person or somebody that was adjacent or in the party of, the acquaintance with the individual that had the hearing to put it on that channel. Because a channel that just gets created, like if I were to create a channel today, it is very unlikely that people within this space or this community would arbitrarily get recommended that brand new channel that I created the moment they log in while a hearing's taking place. There was coordination there, in my opinion. And whether it was BJ's team or not, or anybody in her circle, I have no idea. I'm not going to speculate on that. But what we do know, based on years of her content, is that she records phone calls, she records FaceTimes or Facebook conversations or face-to-faces, communications, whether it's via StreamYards, FaceTime, Facebook, whatever. We know that takes place. Apparently that's widespread in this community, that people just record everything, whether it's legal in their jurisdiction or not. And then they will put it online, whether it's legal in their jurisdiction or not. So, you know, it is what it is there. But I would not be surprised if Brittany wasn't recording her hearing herself. I'm not saying she's the one that put it out there, but I think for her own record, she may have recorded it herself. But the fact of the matter is, she admitted that she received communication via email and was given pointers on how to respond to the hearing. That's a breach. That is a breach of that hearing. And as I was going to say, I'm sorry, I have I side quested. There's no reason for them to complain when Craig has to go to New Jersey. This just proves why Julie didn't want it via Zoom. We know who has a horde of cats. Hey now, DeJennifer, I only have 3. I only have 3, and they're being very good. I picked a time of day when they're resting. They're cuddled up. So, you know, you just have me side questing, heavily caffeinated because I have a lot to do today. But I wanted to get this in here because I don't want it overlooked. If we are going to hold people's feet to the fire, then let's hold their feet to the fire for things that they're actually doing. You know, let's not have conspiracy theories out there. This took place. This was an admission. Or a circuit court of clerks, UA. You know, UA, I'm with you on that one because I did receive verification that one of the people out here that is keen to throw stuff out there is a legitimate, you know, clerk of courts. And which, you know, here in PA, that's, you know, we have a prothonotary, and we also have judicial clerks. We also, which are clerks that are specific to a judge. They work with the judge. They do all the research for the judge. They put opinions together, and they interpret the law. So to give to the judge, which is different than a clerk of court. It's a judicial clerk, and they shadow a judge for 2 years or their entire career. And it's a very rewarding area of law and the judiciary. Very rewarding. So, okay, so that's regular conversation going on in the chat. And yeah, I wanted to grab something for you guys. Witness coaching via email. The defendant's admission at this um, hold on. You guys, scratch what I said there. That was not pertinent to this live stream. um, Integrity of proceedings. New Jersey courts view witness coaching as a fraud on the court because it poisons the truth-seeking process. Participants in New Jersey virtual hearings are strictly prohibited from using electronic devices to communicate with any third party during a session. And we're not going to get into Directive 06 and 24 or 11-20 about the recording. I'll let everybody else handle that because other people are jumping on that. But I will give you guys a link. One moment. There you go. So I hope the court makes BJ present the email. That will be interesting. Well, that depends if she was reported or not. Okay. I can provide that information to you guys as well. Just one moment. I have that handy. Okay. Okay, so to be clear, I'm presenting this information for information purposes only. I am not recommending, nor am I advocating anybody go real life. This is for information purposes if you'd like to be further informed or to clarify anything I may have said. You can contact a municipal court administrator in the state of New Jersey. You could possibly also inquire with a municipal prosecutor. Or if you'd like further guidance on something like this, you could contact the New Jersey Judiciary Call Center. And that information is available to you via newjersey.gov, the New Jersey State Library, or you can use Google. I'm sure Julie did report the hearing, the recording of the hearing. As I said, I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of that. My specific concern right now is the fact that Brittany J made an admission that she was being coached during that hearing by a third party. That third party could just be anybody off a regular person, somebody that works in law in some way or fashion, a regular sub or whatever. Fact of the matter is, it was third party communication coaching. In her words, pointers. Do we need to listen to it again? How about we listen to it again? One moment. Let me go ahead and close a couple of things out on my personal end. For anybody just coming in, let me go ahead and pull that up.
Let's read this post real quick because this, I feel safe enough to answer publicly on YouTube. I would never in a million years be so foolish to do something like that. I look forward to my opportunity to clear our names from the lies that's been told on us. And I damn sure would not do something like this and risk, you know what I mean? Getting all of this stuff, getting justice basically by having this stuff dismissed and, other things.
Everyone deserves justice. Everybody deserves a break. Everybody deserves peace.
Nobody deserves to be lied on. And so we had a virtual court yesterday, S-dubs. And to my knowledge, the only ones that had access to this Zoom meeting were people that were given the links directly, the
No.
actual defendants and plaintiffs, right? Well, yesterday, while I'm in the middle of our hearing, I get an email from someone telling me that they're watching and they're basically giving me pointers on how I should respond to the prosecutor. From someone telling me that they're watching and they're basically giving me pointers on how I should respond to the prosecutor.
Now, you all heard that. I saw in a short video that the admission from BJ about outside help has been brought to the prosecutor's attention. Good. Kimmy Cash, good. I'm glad that it was. I'm very glad that it was. I'm sure it was brought to their attention. Well, I'm not going to say I'm sure. That I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm very glad. I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy about that. So, I hope that she's held to account. I hope the person that decided to interject themselves into a court hearing is found out, and that whatever penalties that are brought to bear, that they're within the law and court rules and procedures. As I said, it was wrong. Kimmy, minded, I go back to the beginning of the stream here. I was floored. Anything, I just, we could suspect that something like that might be going on because that's just par for the course for Brittany. Just based on what we've observed or watched over the last several years on how she conducts herself and everything. But to come out and admit it, our BJ and BHB YouTube friends, I don't know, Carl. They may be acquaintances. I don't know if they've ever had any direct dealings with each other. BHB is a menace, in my opinion. I have a whole playlist dedicated to her. Just, yeah, I think she's a menace. I think my personal opinion of BJ's paramour is that he is also impulsive to the extent that he knows he's saying things to be menacing to the people that are going to hear it. It's a little bit more than bravado at times. It's like, yeah, if I get the opportunity, never mind. My opinions on that are just that, my opinions. They don't need to go out to the whole of the internet. There's a lot of irresponsible behavior online, a lot of loose lips, and again, not thinking twice before saying certain things. But what Brittany doesn't understand is that she facilitates this by holding her panels and allowing him in the background, or the people that she brings up on her panel. She is the one that's facilitating the bad behavior, the egging on, because when there's more than one person up there, Billy Badass comes out. It's like, yeah, I'm sick of this. And so we've all heard it. We hear her in clips. We, hear it in commentary channels and reviews. She can turn on a dime. And people need to understand that when you're giving a platform to somebody to speak their viewpoint, you're paneling them, you're amplifying their voice. Like this is a small channel. When I pop up on Granny's every now and then and provide information, she's amplifying the information that I'm providing. She has 1,200, 2,000 people watching, whereas I've got 12 or 40. I don't have a large audience to get the information out there. Brittany has a large audience. Whether there's that many within her chat box, the fact remains that she has 2, 3, 6 people reviewing her streams. So that amplifies whatever has been on her channel. So when somebody's up there MFing, SOBing, and C-boxing and all that other garbage that's coming out of their mouths, it's not just to the 300 people watching on Brittany. Brittany knows she's going to be reviewed. She depends on it for her content that she gets reviewed. She can say she doesn't like it. She can put that out there into the ether all she wants to. The fact of the matter is that is the basis for her content. Once she's reviewed, it gives her the ability to clap back. It is what it is. That's her formula for content. That's how her bread's buttered on her channels. So it's not just the first 300 people that are hearing her say something or her platforming other people on her panel that say some of the most outrageous things and nasty things. It's now you've got 3 or 5 other channels that have their 500 viewers, their 40 viewers, or their 2,000 viewers going over and hearing the same things. But it originates, but for her, this crap wouldn't be out here. And that's something that Brittany doesn't understand. And she is at that point the source. She becomes the source material and the people that she panels up. I don't know how much more plain I can put it, but I have enough respect for my audience that they understand what I'm saying. Let me check with the double check with the chat here. Well, Carl says several people rely on her as well for content. Seems weird to me. No, it's not weird. This originally you used to be able to 10, 15 years ago on YouTube. Once a video was uploaded, you had the ability to click a button to do a video reply. So now it's in live stream format. It's just responding to what she puts out there. But now it's a cycle. We are in a perpetual loop. It's a flame war. And if anybody's unfamiliar with what a flame war is, go ahead and look it up. It goes back to forums and bulletin boards back in the pioneering early days of the internet. What did Kimmy say here? True. And to admit that while insinuating someone else shared the link. I can't decide if it's what my grandma would call whole hog gall or sheer ignorance. Hey, Music City Mama. It's hubris. It's hubris. Let's go ahead and Google hubris, and we'll put that into the chat box. Hubris is excessive pride, overweening arrogance, or inflated self-worth, often leading to a fatal disregard for human limitations or divine warnings, originating from ancient Greek, meaning insolence or violent outrage. It frequently results in a catastrophic downfall or a nemesis for the individual. It is characterized by dangerous overconfidence and superior manner. Well, there you have it. There you have it. Dare I say that several people may suffer from hubris. It's not always a bad thing to be confident, but it's the overconfidence. It's Brittany knows best, and if we are to listen to her as I didn't want to turn this into a full-on give my opinion on Brittany stream, but here we are. The way CPS is handled, the way the police are handled, the way the courts are handled. If we are to take what she has said about those three systems within her area, by golly, North Carolina is pretty inept. She doesn't understand that there are people out in the real world that have worked in these type of jobs, who deal with these type of things, or have had to deal with them in their own life. So they understand how processes work and what procedures are. So believe her, don't believe her, it's no skin off my nose. I take exception to the misrepresentation of the law, of the legal system, of the court, of the bench, and of the judiciary. That's where I take my offense. And as a person, would AWBJ be somebody that I'd be friends with or associate with out in the real world? It is unlikely if her offline personality is the same as online. I'm sure there's a lot of people that I rub the wrong way as well, and that's okay. But I'm not out here lying about the court. I'm not out here misrepresenting how the legal process works. I'm not out here catching cases. So, she has said that I don't understand any of all this. Okay, Brittany, I'm going to take your opinion and your viewpoint on what I know about the legal system and put it up there on a shelf, look at it, and laugh. So with that, I'm going to get going. I appreciate y'all being here. Please, on the replay, leave a comment. Y'all that were in the chat, thank you so much. I really wasn't sure anybody would show up, and I didn't intend on this going for 45 minutes. And I've spoken some personal opinions in this. Take them for what they are. I've also given you guys some links to go research a little bit further into what this witness coaching is. And let the chips fall where they may, because, hey, this is YouTube. It's the internet. And we all know how to pop popcorn. All right. Y'all have a great day. See you out there. Bye. Oh, wait. Remember, don't let the bitches get